Moving on to the next item, with the approval of the 2018-2019 non-union affiliated employee salary scale. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Rothschild,
Second.
second by Ms. Savigny. Mr. Guthrie.
Board members, we have about 108 of our employees who are not represented by a bargaining unit. We have offered them the same employee increases as per contracted and union employees. And so because the union contracts were approved 3 years ago and we're honoring those, there is no separate action needed for those contracts. However, you approve these salary schedules annually. So what you see before you is an advancement of a step for employees and a 2% increase to the scale of all non-affiliated groups. So it matches what all other employees who are represented by bargaining units get. So I'm bringing it to you for approval.
Board members, any discussion? Ms. Savigny.
Just a couple of questions. So can you characterize what the average percent increase is for each step on average? I know in the other bargaining units it was closer to a 2.5. This actually doesn't look like a...
It was roughly a 2.5 to 3% increase on the salary scales of the affiliated bargaining units. I don't know offhand what the average increase here because it's changed over the years. My guess is the average of 3%, but I don't know.
Okay, but it's relatively consistent with the other bargaining units.
There is
okay.
one error, or not error, but there is one difference with the supervisory scale, and we're going to attempt to fix that through the next couple of years. The supervisory scale on administrative supervisors tops out less than instructional supervisors. Okay. To correct it in 1 year, it costs too much to afford. Okay. But that is something that we will work on, or folks after me will work on in subsequent years.
Okay. And could you explain how this longevity bonus is applied? Because that looks like a very different percentage than what's built into the step scales.
It is. Longevity in Carroll County has a long history. Every bargaining unit until about the mid-90s had longevities associated with the scale. Scales topped out at a very low number, as Ms. Herbert will remember.
Yes.
Sometimes the steps were only 10 steps, and then you went through a series of longevities. You went through a series of what we call dead steps, where you got COLA but no step advancement. But then every incremental year, like every 5 years or every 10 years in some cases, you got a bump up that was more than the step or longevity for time served. We phased those out over the course of the year as we adapted and changed salary schedules, built out the scale. There's been various variations over the years of it, but for the most part, for the affiliated bargaining units, we phased out longevities. It is a carryover in these scales. It is quite a bit different than a step increase. But instead of every year, these here are 5-year or 6-year increments based on longevities, and so they get a bump up. This is a carryover from an old way of compensating employees that has not been changed in some of these technical scales.
Okay. Is it appropriate to leave it in there if it's...
At this time, yes. I mean, that's something that I would say if you want to remove it, I think that would be a discussion you'd have with the future superintendent and staff to say, let's take a look at these scales and let's make them more consistent with their counterparts on the affiliated side.
Okay, so it would be a one-time bump, say, so the longevity after 11 years is a one-time bump of the $14.90. That's not an every year jump after 11 years.
Yeah, you get, after 11 years, your salary jumps up $14.90, and that carries over. There is no other step increases. You would only get the COLA until you hit 16 years. Then you get another bump.
$14.90.
Right.
And then
it
COLA.
just accumulates,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
Board members, any other discussion? No? All right. Call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the non-union affiliated employee salary scale passes unanimously. Ms. Harrison, did you vote?
Nope.
You didn't?
I raised my hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so it passes unanimously. Moving on.